the tailgate show, the tailgate show. And you say Shot City, the tailgate show, the tailgate show, the tailgate show. And you say Shot City, the tailgate show, the tailgate show, the tailgate show. And you say Shot City, the tailgate show, the tailgate show, the tailgate show. And you say Shot City, the tailgate show, the tailgate show, the tailgate show.
Welcome to another episode of The Tailgate Show. Just want to do something a little different we haven't done in a while. It's kind of just introduce what we do and what we're about. So I'm joined here by Trevis Gipson Gravy and Air 54, the Baloney Pony. And welcome to The Tailgate Show. We kind of just bring it as fans. We don't think we're anything more than that. So if you're coming to a podcast to listen to people try to be fake analysts and all this bullshit, this might not be the spot for you because we just kind of bring it from a fan perspective and we are who we are. We don't have to put on Twitter that we think we're right all the time. We know we're going to be wrong. But we bring it from a fan perspective and we always try to keep that. So
whose perspective?
Down to a fan's perspective. So if you're down,
perspective, folks.
And Jer, I told you not to interrupt the intro. See how we can't keep shit tight.
Nope.
And that's the thing. We don't keep shit tight. So again, if this is that kind of spot for you, welcome aboard. You'll have a good time. Join in. Sometimes we go live video. Sometimes we just do the whole pod deal. So, fellas, what's going on? I know it's been a very, very tough, we've said it before, off season, man. There's we're hanging on every little scrap we can get. There were some pressures. We're going to break those down. Trevis Gipson, Justin Fields, Monty, Roquan, had Coach Flus talk to. I'm interested to see your guys' take on it because personally I didn't get much meat to chew, but we'll figure that out. There's some Debo McLaurin talk going on around the Twitter sphere, so we'll dig into that. If you guys got anything else after that, we'll just flow it in. So, fellas, Biscuits, how's it going, brother?
What an intro, man. What a
I
fucking
know.
intro.
2 minutes.
That was more interesting than any presser I listened to here the last
That's the show, folks.
Days. That's just all right. Cut it, tape it. We're done.
I don't even need you to get into Bears takes right now, man. Just what's up? How you doing?
Oh, perfect. I'm good. How are you guys?
Today's a special holiday.
That's right. Happy holidays, everybody. I hope you have celebrated as much as I have.
Yeah, you're on the back nine right now, though, bro, huh?
I'm in
back nine at Biscuitville there.
Listen, I'm just living the dream down here at the beach, fellas. Okay?
To be single without kids on 420, huh?
Doing a podcast.
So, Jay, what's up, fella? I almost said fella. I was listening to Ed Sheeran
what's
before.
Up there,
hey,
young
guy.
fella?
Hey, guy.
What's up,
buddy?
fella?
Tony, did you partake in the holiday?
I had to work. The only
So
thing
did
I
I.
partook in was work crap. Well,
Like
Indiana's
literal?
not a hip state.
Like
Literally.
little crap? Literal crap?
Literal. But just kind of trying to keep up with everything. There's not much to keep up with right now. So
Yeah, so I guess we can get into that. Not that much to keep up with. Jared, I'm going to go to you first because, honestly, I wasn't even in the mood to do a pod this week. But you seem like you really got a lot of good stuff out of these pressers. So why don't you share with us the nuggets you got out of this?
Ooh.
Well, the biggest nuggets, Tevin Jenkins, right tackle.
Have you seen this for yourself?
Oh, massive. Massive nuggets.
The way you just took that freaking lob, man. My God.
Well,
the biggest nuggets. Go ahead, Jared.
Would you say they were bigger nuggets than Kyle Long's?
That's what I'm saying. Where did you?
Well, we don't have any verification via live stream, so.
So during the season we have Pony in the trenches, but Jared's getting really deep into the trenches tonight with Jenkins' big nuggets. So
really,
go ahead, Jared.
Reaching down in the bag for this one.
Right.
What do you got, Jared?
Jenkins playing right tackle. Bourne playing left. That's interesting. They kind of alluded to it with Ryan Poles in the pressers earlier this year. So now the press actually got to see that,
Yeah, but so it's April, right?
Right.
The voluntaries. I mean, Flus even said he's trying different guys at different positions right now.
Well, it's not like there's.
Do you really
Sorry.
think that's as big info, like for this week maybe, but really in the whole scheme of things, do you really think it matters?
How many people are signed to that offensive line right now? Not many. I mean, the roster itself is depleted, so they're getting a good look at it, so they know what they have to deal with for the draft, what they have to deal with in free agency, maybe.
Well, you were upset
it's big news.
You were upset with Mustafa at guard in these against the air walkthroughs too, right?
Right. I mean, why is Sam Mustafa on this field? I can't stand the guy. I mean, he's a smart guy. Don't get me wrong. I've heard that from several people. He's a smart football guy. But he's grossly undersized to play guard.
I mean, how grossly the Poles what Poles wants in the O line though? You remember him getting lighter, getting faster.
Well, 280s though. That's an under what? I don't know how tall he is. 6'1", maybe.
The underside's not the issue. He's just so weak at the point of attack.
Right.
After snapping the ball though, we don't really know if it's just get up and block.
But I mean, it just shows that there's no depth. You know, if you've got that guy playing guard, we got problems.
I'm not saying that it might not be an issue. I'm just trying to play devil's advocate here, and you're
I can see what you're
guy.
saying. A lighter,
6'2".
quicker is 6'2". I mean, I'm 6'2". Quote.
They have him listed at 332. There is no way he is 332.
Jerry, if you're 6'2", I'm like 6'1 3/4.
Right.
But I'm not. I'm 5'11 3/4.
Are you one of those? Are you a 3/4 guy on the end there? You can't just round it up.
No, legit. I'm a legit 6'1". So.
Okay, came down an inch. That's progress.
That's right. Punching down.
I mean, what? So, I mean, it's April. Like Diddy said, I think the fluidity is pretty normal for this type of year. I would be more concerned if they weren't maybe trying out some of these combinations of things. But I do think Jared does make a good point. You know, you're trying some of these things now before you go into the draft to maybe get a look at what you have at their more natural positions, Borum and Jenkins, because I think everybody but Ryan Pace and that previous regime kind of viewed Borum more as a natural left tackle and Jenkins more as a natural right tackle. I think Boney makes a good point. Before you're heading into the draft, kind of get a look at
that's why everybody's head. That's why everybody certain people's heads exploded when you trade away your left tackle that started that was healthy and didn't miss games. Charles Leno Jr.
My head did not explode from that.
A lot of people. I was not happy about it. It didn't make any sense to me that you're just going to draft a right tackle.
Jeremy, you were a Leno lingerer?
I was a Leno lingerer.
Oh.
Yeah, but in Bears' defense, having Leno last year would have been much better for Justin.
Yep. You would have taken Charles Leno last year.
I don't know, man. Leno got Fitzpatrick killed like the first week of the season. Yeah. Granted, over the course of the season, he didn't grade out terrible, but
right. You would have taken that performance and his steadiness.
And you know what?
Peters was pretty steady.
Peters was pretty steady. I'm just saying, from even like your draft perspective, like I don't know. I would have rather gone into the season with a known left tackle, but they didn't give Justin the chance off the rip anyway. So it might have kept Dalton in longer. Who the hell knows?
Right.
You know, maybe Dalton would have got. You don't know how it all plays out, but.
You can really tell the dissatisfaction with the previous regime too.
Yeah, but we thought he should have stayed at right tackle, Jenkins.
Yeah, we thought that from the start. It's like just the muscle memory and everything that is involved with being a right tackle.
Exactly.
And now you're potentially doing the same thing to Borum, who's played a lot of right tackle.
He's played left tackle though.
Yeah, he has played left tackle in the SEC. Now, that's different. That's a different animal altogether.
142 snaps at left tackle in college, over 1,000 at right tackle for Borum.
And guys, there's still going to be guys signed after the draft. This is what I'm saying, that you can't put too much into this. So if they want to try Borum out at left tackle and he's not looking
now's
good
the time.
The limited time they see, They can make a move after the draft if they don't address that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now's the time to do it. If you're going to do it now. Get a good evaluation so you know what to get going into the draft and then going into some of those older free agents like the Eric Fishers of the world. And
Right. So seeing Mustafa out there, Jared, doesn't really worry me because once they made the move to bring a center in, Mustafa now becomes expendable in a sense. So try the kid out. He's young, right? You got him on a rookie deal. Actually, cheaper than that. And see if he pans out somewhere else early. If he doesn't, address that in the draft too. I'm just not super concerned at this point in the season with it.
Not to dig up old irrelevant things, but I would just much rather have Alex Bars in that role than Mustafa for the money and the value, personally.
He's got the size too. I mean, I don't know.
I mean, Pole's probably just hit in his evaluation. He was worth letting go. Unfortunately, I like Bars too. He could play multiple positions, and I'm a Notre Dame fan, so there is that. But
as he flashes his Irish shirt,
yeah, Biscuits. I never see you with Coastal stuff on. What's up with that?
Listen. The teal is not for the pod, boys. This is a Bears pod. Okay, these colors don't run.
Yeah, but we're not.
They barely get off the couch.
For the listeners at home, I'm showing my Coastal Carolina Chanticleer's underwear right now. It's a nice singlet.
Whitey.
So, Jer, we'll go through. I mean, let's go through who did the pressers and let me know what you got out of it. Besides, we talked about the tackle switch, talked about Mustafa. So, anything else that you heard about on the field? I mean, I heard today that Equanimous made a nice catch over the middle.
Really?
I did hear that. And
guess who did? He's been banged up. He's got explosive abilities. I'm kidding.
I'm just gonna get Biscuits worked up.
Let's talk about that Raz.
Equanimous. The Raz was 9.87
from 4 years ago.
That's better than some of the kids that came out in the draft this year.
That's assuming that those same athletic traits are still there 4 years.
But you are a Raz guy. Like 10 is perfect.
Yeah, I'm a Raz guy, but after 4 years, I mean, playing experience to me outweighs any sort of Raz score at this point. Yeah, for a guy that has no NFL film on, yeah, I'm going to look at, especially for wide receivers, some of those 3 cones.
Okay.
Let me pose a question. It's like 4 years with Aaron Rodgers in Getsy's system.
And your brother's a Packers fan. Have you talked to him about that and seen his perspective on him? Because I've talked to a Packers fan, and I was like, oh, okay, St. Brown. But go ahead. What'd you get from a Packers fan perspective?
He was not a big St. Brown fan, personally. Okay. If he said if he was going to keep one of the guys, obviously outside of Devontae, who ended up leaving, it would have been MBS. Thought that he had the most upside out of any Packers receiver that had left or has stayed, including Cobb and Lazard. Cobb is obviously not the same guy he used to be. He was just never a big St. Brown guy. I think they were always expecting him to take that next step. Never did. I believe he also had some issues with drops. Didn't seem like Rodgers ever truly trusted him.
Well, once you fall out of favor with the king,
true.
It's hard to get back on the fucking good side. You know what I'm saying?
Not that his opinion is gold, but he was never a big St. Brown guy.
But you get a different perspective. So from the Packers fan I talked to, he's like, I felt like he never really got a fair shake. He wasn't that Rodgers was fixated on Devontae. So that was his take. Who the hell knows, man? I mean, I hope he pans out because shit, we didn't pay much for him. Like he does.
Nice.
There is some skill there. So I guess my question too is, Packers backup receivers are better than some of the receivers we've had here in recent memory.
True.
If Getsy has to see something in him, and the whole language thing, fuck all that. It's
more than language.
Getsy was a player though. He actually was on the 49ers for a very short period of time, like as a quarterback. So right. he has the player to player NFL, not arena league, player to player understanding of how to communicate. You don't need a guy here from Green Bay to tell the players what he's saying. It's football.
Right.
No, but it does help. It does help to have a guy in the room that's familiar with the system. he was cheap, didn't break the bank. He has special teams utility. The thing that concerns me again, more so than just the fact that he played with one of the top 2 quarterbacks in the league and never really did much, is the Packers have been probably one of the top 2 teams that draft and develop at wide receiver position.
Have they though?
I would
After
put the
Devontae
Packers,
Adams, who?
Jordy Nelson, Donald
After-
Driver.
after.
After Devontae. Yeah, I guess you could say recently, probably not. They took Alan Lazard from undrafted and made him an 800-yard.
Oh, they've always taken no-name receivers and made that. Yeah, that's always
over the
Aaron
last
Rodgers
2
has
decades. I'd
done
say
that.
the Steelers and the Packers have been the best 2 wide receiver development franchises. out there.
And what have both teams had the whole time?
Hall of Fame
Consistent
quarterbacks.
quarterback play. Consistent quarterback play.
Because look at the guys that have left the Steelers, and besides Antonio Brown, when his head was somewhere normal, who did anything?
That's true. Yeah, Santonio Holmes. We kind of saw how that ended for him. Who was the other guy?
Plexico had a
Mike
moment.
Barris.
No, Plexico had a moment.
Mike Wallace.
Mike Wallace. Thank you. Yeah.
But we saw why they didn't keep Plexico at the same time.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So we'll
Bang,
see what
bang.
happens. We'll see what
Still
happens
burns
with these
me.
guys. But I'm hoping that Justin takes that next step and to the point where he can make guys better.
Well, you better take it with his left foot to start.
Yeah. So
I'm
another
way
thing.
more excited about Pringle over St. Brown. I think that's a guy.
Oh, sure. They pay,
was
but they
stymied
paid
by
it,
opportunity
and they paid that accordingly.
accordingly. Yep.
So that you're on the same page as Poles, because that's what he's thinking too.
So give me your perspective on St. Brown real quick. Why do you? I'm not saying that you think he's a
I'm a Notre Dame
Number
fan.
two, but-
I did like him out of college, and I don't think any of us can sit here and say we didn't back then. He was a hell of a prospect out of college.
Sure.
Hasn't worked out in Green Bay. Getsy brought him in here for something. Even if it's a solid backup, I'm good for the price, right? But it would be cool to see if he has anything. And I'm not opposed to it, being that beggars can't be choosers, right? When the news came out about MVS and him being available, I said if Getsy had to bring a guy in, I wanted St. Brown because he's way cheaper. Sure, the drops, but MVS is the same way. You're going to pay him. What'd they pay him? $10 million a year.
Yeah, and he has lots of drops.
Yep.
Crucial drops.
MVS isn't $9 million a year better than St. Brown. I'm sorry.
That's a fair statement. I think MVS is better, but $9 million better. No, I would agree with that.
The market just got stupid. So even if the Bears wanted to get a second tier guy, after what Jacksonville did, the Jacksonville, not to get too far off topic here, but the Jacksonville move is still having impact. Now you got Debo and McLaurin, some shit rising about them because they're like, damn.
Yeah,
that kid got paid like that? Re-up me.
Wasn't the Browns receiver in New Orleans today too?
Landry?
Yep.
Oh,
He was visiting New Orleans today.
solid veteran slot guy that can block, man. That's huge.
Would love to have Jarvis here.
Huh?
Allen Robinson.
What about him?
That's Landry's just Allen Robinson with a different haircut.
No.
Oh, I think they're two different receivers, in my
Ooh.
opinion. They're both possession receivers, but Jarvis
A-Rob's
has a
not
little
a
bit
slot.
more
Yeah.
lateral juice to
He
him.
lined up in the slot for us a lot.
He's not a slot guy like that.
Okay.
You're talking like Julian Edelman type slot where he's gonna fucking smack somebody. Like that.
Okay.
Jarvis is physical, and he's more like he can run slants and actually run after catch.
He'll actually block too.
Yeah, A-Rob was a
Not
slot
work at a band.
as a binky, not as a. We just didn't have the right slot guy. That's what I thought. Let me just put it this way: Daz Newsome, what he showed in college,
Yeah.
to me is that true slot guy. Now I'm not saying it's going to translate to the NFL, but I hope it does. Like that guy that's a running back once he gets the ball, that's what you want.
Yeah.
True.
But anyway, kind of off topic of these pressers. So, Jer, the only thing I did here on the field today, by the way, because we got way off of that, was Mooney dropped the ball today. Yes, Mooney was the guy that dropped the ball. Defense picks it up everybody's swarming, ready to block. So that's kind of
playing fast.
it's
You heard
already
Roque?
it's already in their minds.
They tried to pepper Roquan and Montgomery with a lot of money talk, and they weren't having it.
So with Quan, let's just go through him real quick because me and Biscuits don't have much on him. I want to hear what you have to say. So Quan's presser, what'd you get out of that?
He's talking about playing with Burrow, getting used to some of the play calls and stuff, how they're going to align. It doesn't sound like they've really set him at Mike or Will yet, that they're moving him around quite a bit.
Well, he has the mic though.
He has the mic, but I'm talking about
The Mike
linebacker versus Will linebacker. It seems like that's still a fluid thing too. So they're going to try to put him in a situation where he could succeed, which I think is great. He's going to need some help around him. So
that's the good thing about Morrow too, is he's not going to wow anybody, but he does have that versatility to play both Mike and Will. So you can kind of intermix him and Roquan.
And it seems like those two have hit it off too. He talks about how they were kind of hanging out and chatting together and comparing, their own notes together and collaborating. Sorry for that word. I hate that word. But that was his word.
So the other thing with Quan is I wanted him to stay at middle linebacker. A lot of people are going, Will, Lance Briggs. I don't know. I think that when you got the guy that has the smarts and the instincts and can fly in when needed to, he can play the pass well. I don't know if you fuck with that unless you got a guy that can legitimately who can come in and play middle linebacker better than Quan on the squad right now.
Good question. I don't know.
And he's familiar with being the mic. Not that you have to have the mic in your helmet and be the middle linebacker. You can do it from other positions. That's not. But I just don't know who else would have that command. The general in the middle,
as of right now, nobody.
Right. So it's kind of tough because if we had that guy, Quan, go be Briggs.
Well, that's what's going to be interesting about this season. We're going to see if talent can actually grow into those positions. I mean, the roster's pretty much cut to bare bones.
So. And Eddie was there today for the record too.
Yes, everybody was good.
Yeah. But so, Jared, did you get anything else out of Quan's presser?
I mean, other than them just trying to
wanting
to know if he, squeeze off something about his contract information, which, I mean, it's a big looming question in Chicago. What do we do with it? What do you do with that? And we've talked about it before. I think we're pretty much all solidly in the camp of signing him now. Yeah, don't let him get out the door. So, I mean, there's nothing new there. And evidently he's still his own agent on this. So,
yeah, I mean, I think he had the agent initially, though. There was some stipulation about I forget when he was a rookie. He had an agent out of college, but
they did something. That's why he was late to camp.
There was a rule they were trying to get through.
Right.
Trying to, and Roquan was one of the players that had to represent that. So
I was surprised the offset money is what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was like there was some union stuff in the background there with that. They're trying to set a mark, with that stuff. So
were you surprised that Trevis Gipson talked day one?
Well, I was going to bring you to Trevis next.
Yeah. I mean, were you surprised that he talked day one instead of Roquan?
No.
No? I was a little bit, Roquan being the captain. You think he would have been the first one to talk?
Justin was.
No, on defense.
On offense, captain spoke one day, defensive captain spoke another, introduced another guy with them. You don't need both of them in the front the first day.
Okay, true. I just thought it was interesting. It seems like maybe they're a little higher on Trevis than we've kind of given him. I admittedly have probably have him as an afterthought on this defense.
Really?
I did a little bit, yeah.
I knew where he came out of in college. I knew he was going to be a little bit of a project. I liked his progression, actually.
I like the way he ended up the season this past year.
I mean, I think his motor fits exactly what Flus is looking for.
Right, and I like the idea of him being at that defensive end position with his hand in the dirt. He did mention that he's way more comfortable with his hand in the dirt than being in a 2-point versus that 3-point stance. He feels like he says he can do both. And he
And
feels like
we need rotation, man.
He
right.
reminds me of Corey Wooten a little bit.
I think he's more productive than Wooten ever was.
A little
Although
stronger.
I think you're misremembering a little bit about Corey. Corey had some solid years here.
he had one big play,
You talking
And
about
that's the one that-
the injury.
the one that ended Brett Favre's career. But I mean, think about it. If you statistically, I would say that Gibson's had a better couple of years than Wooten.
I would be happy if he became Alex Brown. Not a top 10 guy.
God,
Ooh, he's a top 10 guy for the Bears, though, in
I'd
pressures.
be really happy about that.
No, I'm saying not a top 10 guy in the league, but solid as fuck for us.
He's like third all time in sacks for the Bears.
Corey Wooten had 7 sacks in 2012, man. Come on now.
Okay.
Anyway, Alex Brown, I'd like him to become. Brown was also playing opposite some pretty damn good guys.
Right. You got to have help on that side.
Ottawa, yeah.
Oh, then
Wale
it
was
Pet.
a beast.
Then it was Pet, bro. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
fuck.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. We need that other guy on the other side. Robert Quinn has proven he can be that guy if we can get another year or two out of him. So maybe Gipson will eat. Who knows?
Hey, man. It'd be nice to get some production off the opposite end.
Well,
That's
we also got the guy from the Colts too. Muhammad, right?
Yeah, Muhammad.
So these are
He's a younger cat, 27, 28.
We need the depth, man.
Competition.
Exactly.
This is exactly what the previous regime said that they were going to preach, and they did not.
Competition, not only competition, but like open competition is just going to make everybody better. Whoever starts and backs up. So I'm
agreed.
It's part of the rebuild. But so, like, did you get anything out of what Trevis said? I mean, I didn't.
I mean, other than, they talked about how his positioning, like I said, but other than what we just discussed, not really.
No, anything with Monty?
He's focused on football and not getting paid.
It's been hiking a lot.
I'm hiking.
Yeah, and so I kind of like his sense of humor, though, because it's very dry, right? And he gets annoyed. He just kind of gets annoyed because some of the questions are like, he answers them directly sarcastically. Like, he knows they're there to talk football. And he'll be like, oh, did you notice anything new about Justin? And he's like, yeah, his hair's longer and he has new shoes. And like they're just like, what? They like he mind fucks the press. it's kind of humorous, and he does it like, what do you say? He goes, "Oh, that was really sweet of you," to one of the reporters for trying to pry, or was that Roquan? Roquan did that. Like these guys both these guys, like they're smart. They get their digs in politely.
David's like, yeah, well, I think you answered your own question, but yeah,
it's intelligent though. It's not dicky. So it's like you have to pay attention to it to catch it, because I have a very sarcastic sense of humor. So my shit, I'm just like, I appreciate that. Yeah, I appreciate that sarcasm though.
I didn't know.
Shocking.
That.
No, because what they do in the business is called smile fucking.
Yeah.
And it's quick. And if you don't catch it, like they think he's just dry, but really he's just like he's a mind ninja, bro. And it's funny 'cause they don't know how to handle him.
Who was it? Was it Wiederer who asked David, have you talked to any of the defensive guys to maybe learn something from them that could help you on the offensive side of the ball? He's like, no, I hadn't considered that, but he goes, that's really great advice. Thank you. I think I'll do that.
That's what I mean. And then they asked Roquan, like, have you spoken to Darius Leonard? Like, yeah, let me just call him. And he's like, no. His answer was good.
Friends.
He's like, well, no. He in his mind, he's on the same level.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like he's not cocky about it. He's just straightforward, and he's just like, why would I talk to him? Like, he wasn't in a different defense before he had to start playing this defense. This is the only defense he knows.
True.
I was like, oh shit! All right, Quan. Like, these guys' personalities are starting to come out more, being I dig those two, man. I dig their vibe. So they're all him. I mean, Monty, Justin, and Quan. The big parts of the team. Yes, running backs can be replaced. Blah blah blah. But like these are the guys. These are the right now. It's the future.
Eminem's muscle and motor, or whatever he was talking about. Flus. I mean, that's what he was kind of pegged as.
Well, so the other thing was they brought up fullback, dude. His response, so how's it going to be playing behind a fullback? He goes, yeah, it gives me another guy to celebrate with after I make a run.
Get a handshake worked on or something.
Like, how the hell do you like an NFL running back getting a fucking a good blocking fullback in front of him? What do you think? Yes, of course he's good. Right. Of course he loves that.
According to Hogue, he was talking about on his podcast that Blasinghame's a pretty big dude.
Yeah,
not boxy like some of the fullbacks in the past. That he thought his body type is more tight end than fullback.
And he's a weapon though too.
And he's got speed. He's faster than your typical fullback.
Right.
He can catch out of the backfield.
Yep.
I mean, just some things that we have to go on reporters' stuff too. The guys are there, even though you can't hear them in the pressers half the time. Thanks, Bears.
I wonder how Derrick Henry feels about losing him.
Yeah. I mean, Henry was a single back a lot, but there was a good portion that they were in an offset eye or whatever.
They were in all types of formations, man. They ran right down your throat.
Yeah.
You also wonder how it feels for Blasingame to come from a organization like Tennessee with Vrabel as their coach to now Eberflus. Vrabel, by all accounts, is a pretty hands-on coach. I wonder how hands-on Eberflus is. I can't imagine him being all that hands-on with players.
Vrabel's a defensive guy.
Yeah.
It seems like Flus is involved a lot. That's why he wants the head coach. He wants.
Physically involved. You know what I'm saying?
Well, we kind of made that comment too, right? About not just fixating on the defense and kind of being involved in the. I mean, that's kind of one of the things that we all sort of praised him for after that one press conference is that he was going to be involved in all three phases. Go ahead, Diddy.
Sorry, man. You're talking about Vrabel hitting the sled with them? Like, what the fuck? More physical?
I mean, like he would line up and do different drills with them and shit.
Bro, Nagy used to throw the ball with the guys.
Vrabel was doing the Oklahoma drill?
No, he wasn't doing Oklahoma. Nobody does Oklahoma anymore.
No, he's teaching them the swim move. That's what position coaches are for, bro.
I know, but it's just I just wonder how hands-on Eberflus is. It seems like he runs a pretty tight ship. He ran through in his second presser, the one today. He pretty much went item by item exactly what they did. They did 7-on-7, then they went 11-on-11, then position groups, and it seems like those things were never present with Nagy.
No, they even said playing inside today it was very organized and switched up, but they were impressed with the organization of how things went today at Hallis as far as the reporters were concerned. So anyway, was there anything else that Flus said? Because he was another guy. I'm trying to get through these, Jer.
Nah.
Well, the touch on Trevis real quick before we get off of him. The big thing that I took away from that was he did mention that the Khalil Mack trade bothered him a little bit.
Yeah, he kind of found out that he was at his friend's house.
Yeah, I mean they asked him though, right?
They did ask him, yeah. Said it bothered him, and that he kind of stole a lot of the technique from Khalil over the past 2 years. That was the biggest takeaway, biggest question I think for Trevis's interview. Which again is not shocking content. I don't think anyone on that defense was happy or not surprised that Khalil got traded.
I mean, look at you taking something out of one of the pressers. I'm very impressed.
It's April, man. I'm fucking trying here, okay?
Hey, it's all about effort.
So we got into Monty. The last one left. Anything with Flus, guys? Anything else, Jerry? You mentioned some stuff.
Like I said, no, I mean, a little bit of coach speak, but nothing too bad, you know. He seems like I said, every time I've seen him so far in his presser, he doesn't look like he's the beaten down Matt Nagy that we saw in the last 2 years.
Well,
He's
yeah.
got real energy, you know, talking about evaluating players, getting ready for the draft, all that stuff, and that's really where we're at, you know.
I mean,
You
that's
got to find out what you
Nagy
got.
did when he first got here, too, though.
Yeah, you're coming into a job,
Florida.
your first head coaching gig. You're gonna have a little bit more juice.
Don't act like you weren't all juiced up by Nagy when you got here.
I was.
Jerry.
I was.
You sound like a battered down ex-husband right now.
Hi, first time as a Bears fan. I'm a battered down ex-husband.
This happens with every coach. We want them all to work, and I do like Flus. I understand what you're saying, but it just seems.
And I'm glad Eddie Jackson showed up. Eddie Jackson was talked about. You know, he said he had great hands, and no, Flus actually said a few things about the way he performed today.
Oh, did he?
Good vision, you know, better hands than he expected. Things of that nature, you know. It's like I said, it's a little bit of coach speak, but
yeah, all that sounds like nothing to me. But
hopefully, me as a Bears fan, I'm glad he's there. Maybe some of this shit rubs off on him, and he gets back to being Eddie Jackson instead of being whatever the fuck he's been the last 2 years.
More than that, 3.
Yeah, since 18.
I mean, I do think a big piece of that, not to say that Eddie can't be playing better. I mean, I think he solidly had a pretty decent year last year in coverage.
He had a better year than what
ball wasn't thrown his way. I mean, the turnover numbers just aren't there. I do think, though, having that strong safety to complement his game to allow Eddie to do what he does best is, I think, been the biggest issue over the last 2 years for him.
I mean, the message was sent when they got rid of Mac. I'm not saying I'm not happy that Mac's gone, right? But
yeah, everybody's expendable.
The positive side of that is when you're starting something new. That's an oh shit moment. That's like, oh shit. And I think Monty brought that up. Yeah. He kind of hit on that a little bit. Where it's
look at you bringing stuff.
Well,
damn, you took stuff out of it too.
So what no, I didn't take anything out of it. I'm talking about the move of Khalil Mack. That had nothing to do with the presser. Monty had mentioned that. That's why I tied that in. But there's a real feeling of shit. Okay, well, none of us are safe. You know, I'm not worried about Robert Quinn knows who he is, but Robert Quinn's motor's perfect for what Flus wants to do. So that we have the veteran presence that's already there.
He's worked with Flus though too at Dallas, correct?
But he plays like he's going to be replaced. Do you know what I mean? That's kind of his mentality already. So he that fits in fine. Now he's the lead dog. That's the example. That's going to rub off
if they keep him.
The Mac trade did signal that, though. It did. There's only 3 guys on this whole roster that are safe, in my opinion.
Which are
Justin, Roquan, and Jalen.
Oh, damn it. I was going to make people pay the Patreon channel for that, Biscuits. You just gave that out for free.
Was Jalen there today?
Jalen was there today, I'm pretty sure.
I didn't not see any sure. I cannot confirm that, but I will check with my sources.
Okay. Stats and gravy loading.
I'll have an article out later.
Yeah. So, Justin, anything out of Justin's presser, guys?
Like I said, other than the left foot.
Yeah.
You know.
In the shotgun, yeah.
Starting with the shotgun. Seems like Getsy's working on his mechanics. So hopefully that works and gets him to reading defenses faster and releasing the ball faster. That's the whole point of that move.
Well, that's a system thing, isn't it? Didn't he mention that's something that they do in Getsy's system?
I think so.
Well, I mean, doesn't it just make sense so mechanically? Like you start with your left foot as a right-handed thrower. You already got your plant foot ready to go.
So my question would be: is Justin has been working with that quarterback coach since high school, I believe, right?
Right.
Like the same school. Coach. The same coach that has Trevor Lawrence. So why wasn't that? That leads me to believe that maybe that's not something that's universal that maybe that's something specific to the scheme? Because Justin mentioned the timing of some of
Well,
the throws and correlation with the footwork.
Think about if you're starting with your left foot as a right-handed thrower, right off the rip, you got your plant foot ready. You're already balanced. You know what I mean, to come up and go.
Right.
It just makes sense mechanically. I'd have to look into some quarterback guru, but from a fan's perspective, it makes a lot of sense to me.
I'm sitting here moving my feet, trying to feel what feels more natural.
Think about pitching. It's your base foot as a right-handed thrower. So you're already starting off ready to roll. I think it's going to help his release. Personally, I'm not a quarterback expert or whisperer or anything like that.
Nobody is.
I get the physics behind it, but
Justin also said that he didn't watch much tape from last year yet, even though he also said in the same breath that, you know, he learned that he walked into a few sacks because he held onto the ball too long and things of that nature. So, I mean, he's got some growing to do, I think.
You think?
We Bears fans thought that it was slam dunk. He's just going to transcend the schemes,
more Nagy proof. Oh.
Yep.
What about when they asked him if he was always put in the best position to succeed? I thought he handled that question, sidestepping that pretty well.
It's good for him for not getting his coach bashed, even though everybody else is taking a free swing at him.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I'd like him to be more transparent and honest with that, but I think he understands that he's still in improvement mode. So what does that accomplish?
He's got to prove it.
No, the media would have ran with that had he bashed that.
If he has a bad season, it just will be endless. Like he's smart. He's a smart kid.
Right.
He's not going to put that bullshit on himself.
He's also the guy that brought him here. He's one of the guys that made sure that he got here and drafted, and they traded up for him. So
I think he learned too after that comment that he made about the game speed last year, that he was going to be a little bit more careful with his words and what he said, because they can be easily manipulated, taken out of context, and overblown. So he just seemed very methodical in a lot of his answers at that presser.
It's maturity.
Yeah.
I mean, his big rookie mistake on the mic was the game slowing down because my defense is so good in practice. He wasn't even being a punk about it. It's just freaking media that just there to fucking take shit and
take it out of context. Yep. Yeah.
So, and that's who we rely on to give us our inside scoop. See how that works?
Yeah, it's a whole nasty, vicious cycle.
And then we wonder why Twitter's so shitty.
What's that?
Social media in general.
No, shit, like reporters. And I'm not saying all of them. Some of them
snarky.
Some of them take it and twist it into bullshit because they have to be a different voice.
We wrote 7 articles about it.
Right.
I've never heard of this Twitter thing you're talking about. So.
No, okay, gotcha. You're off the Twitter sphere, huh? But so like I actually, that's why I like Hogue, because he actually, even though when he does get negative, he doesn't put his spin on things too much. He kind of just brings what happened pretty well. Mm-hmm. He brings his own opinions later on, but when he's reporting what happened,
right,
it's not like super like he does it right anyway. But so anything else with Justin, guys? Anything else that he's
got to prove it, man. We wanted him to arrive, and this is it, son. Start proving it. Yep. I hope you do. God, I hope you do.
Well, Jared, you had a big nugget from Justin. Why don't you share that?
I had a big nugget from Justin.
Yeah, a wide receiver that he was very
high
on.
He loves him some Olave.
He does he?
Breaking news.
His old
best deep ball tracker that he's ever played with, he said. He said he is keeping track of the receivers in this draft, and he wants to see where they go. And I think he's hopeful a few of them land here. So maybe that's just a little shove at like, hey, man, I need some receivers, Mr. Poles.
How do you think Darnell Mooney felt about that statement?
Ask me if I give a fuck.
I mean, with his 140 targets last year, I don't think Darnell should feel any type of way about it.
No.
Personally.
True.
Hey, we're not going to get you killed. We'll have another guy that can get killed too.
Well, I also think Darnell's smart enough to know that. Obviously, you have to have someone on the other side there, or else Darnell's going to demand so much attention from the defense.
The best thing about Darnell Mooney is you don't hear from him.
Yeah.
You don't hear him say a word. All he does is show up, practice, and catch footballs, and evidently drop one today.
It's not a big deal. It's a walkthrough, but the point of the drop was how the defense responded. I thought that was cool that it's catching on that quickly.
Yeah.
Because like Hogue basically said it, we haven't seen this since Lovey.
Yeah, that's what
in
what
a
you want to
practice.
see.
So sorry, Jared. That's what he was saying. Like in practice, that effort. Like sometimes you'd see one guy pick up the ball if it was dropped.
Right.
But like to see this kind of reaction, he hasn't seen that in a practice since Lovey.
That's why it's important that Eddie Jackson's there. I'm sorry to go back to Eddie Jackson, but it's important that he's there. Because like him or not, a lot of people give him shit. A lot of people give him shit, but the bottom line is the dude's a ball hog and a playmaker when he's put in the right positions to do so.
Yeah.
And given the help around him.
But here's the difference.
And given the help, I'll throw that in there, and given a little help around him.
When he's put in the position to do it, the great ones put themselves in the position to do it.
Well, sometimes you got to make sure that everybody else is doing what they're supposed to do, too. And if you can get that kind of...
The more you shine when everybody else is doing what they're supposed to do, and you can't shine when other people aren't, you're not the fucking man. If we're getting defensive pressure, an average quarterback is serviceable.
True.
Do you see what I'm saying? So, like, he played on that 18 defense. That 18 defense was fucking beast mode.
Right.
Sure. Very good ball hawk when shit's always going good around him. Needs to be the guy that when shit breaks down, he's still that dude.
But I believe Biscuits brought it up earlier, his target rate is at lows that he hadn't seen in years past. So doesn't that tell you the respect that quarterbacks have for him already?
He was throwing out very little last year.
Yeah, but on short shit or running at him, nobody gives a fuck.
Well, that's where this has got to rub off on him. This is where the Eberflus hits principles have to rub off on him for him to stay a Chicago Bear, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, Pagano made a mistake though in a lot of ways. I mean, Eddie was coming up in the box way too much, and that's just never his game. Going back to Alabama, that was never his game.
Yeah, but Desai had him last year, and that was his coach. That was his guy.
Correct. I think you saw a lot more of him out of the box at that point. I mean, his coverage grades were really good. He just doesn't have those impactful plays that we saw in 18.
And the effort,
which is the reason why he got paid.
Now, he had a few of them called back, too, on penalties. So
yeah, whatever, dude. Almost catches, almost touchdowns, almost interceptions. I'm good.
Just saying.
Well, I'm ready to eat my Bojacks now. You just got me rehyped into Bojack, Jer.
You're welcome.
I'm buying back in.
Jer's back in on Bojack. We'll keep that rolling.
No, I'm just saying it's important to him. I mean, this is if he can do this, the easy things,
That's
easy.
Coach
you know what
speak.
I'm saying?
Go ahead, Jer.
If he can do the basic things easily, like he should,
Bro,
then that's a big thing. You know, he didn't touch a dude down, not once, but twice.
if all of them do what you're saying, it'd be better.
That's why it's important that they be there.
That was deep. That was almost like
pretty deep.
Yeah.
Would you look at that?
Big Lebowski deep, bro.
Would you look at that? Just look at that. Fucking look at that.
All right, so
Look at it.
done with the pressers. We got
That
some
rug really tied the room together.
we got some chatter bait about Debo and McLaurin not being too happy with their current situations. Debo's more real. He's come out and said he wants to be traded. McLaurin's just talk at this point.
Right.
Ooh.
Out of those two,
Debo.
who you
Terry
taking?
McLaurin. Terry, go ahead, Pony. You go first.
Oh, it's Debo. He's too versatile. If
In
you
the
had the
Shan-
chance,
In the Shanahan offense.
Yep.
With a really good offensive line in front of him.
correct. He's
But-
explosive.
But he's
So
also
you would take
complaining
that-
that's the way that he's being used, that he doesn't want to be used like that.
Right, but you would take him with a fucking all-world tight end and a hell of an offensive line and put him in Chicago over McLaurin?
Nope.
You think we're going to get... Debo's not going to see what the openings.
That you may have your great tackles. You don't know. He's just an explosive player, dude. He's a house call waiting to happen.
Sure.
Oh,
but
And
sure.
who wouldn't want that on your roster?
would you rather have a legit number one?
Terry McLaurin's a legit number one.
Yes.
Okay.
With consistent quarterback play, Terry McLaurin is a top 10 wide receiver in my opinion.
We have that in Chicago, right?
Dude is scary. Well, this
we've
is all
got-
this is all predicated on Justin taking the next step, obviously.
Right.
But even with the inconsistent crap quarterback play, which has been pretty much on the same level as
Does-
what we've had here in Chicago, Terry's produced.
Can McLaurin take a screen behind the line and go 90 with it?
When's the last time you've seen us run an effective screen?
Touche.
Now, to be fair,
You're asking a lot to
That's
go
just
right.
saying-
That should be a
But-
point of emphasis, though, in this offense is the screen game.
It should
will
be,
say.
but it may take some time. So I'm just saying
True.
McLaurin would come here and have an impact right off the rip
McLaurin has like 3 straight 1,000-yard seasons
with a
Also,
shit
Debo
quarterback.
got-
with shit quarterback play.
Shit quarterback.
Jimmy G was great.
Better than what the Washington's had.
Yeah,
Facts.
yeah.
What are those in junk time yards?
Tyler Heineke. I mean, come on now.
You're asking us if it's junk time yards, Jared, like we're fucking walking encyclopedias. I would have to look
I'm
that up
just
for you, buddy.
asking.
I might be able to
mean,
come with that
Debo-
next week.
Debo's
What-
played meaningful snaps in big games, and he's fucking delivered.
Jared saw the highlight today circulating on Twitter about him saying, "Give me the ball, coach," and he ran it against the Cowboys, so Jared's all fucking hard.
Sure.
I mean,
Stop me when I'm lying.
Debo played well last year, but his first 2 years were, I think
Well,
No,
you like
he's
the
a
run.
beast. He's a beast. Don't get me wrong. What I'm
he's
saying
hard to
is,
tackle, man.
Jared got drunk off that NFL Films video with like, Debo calls his own play. Coach put me in. Jared's like, yeah.
the thing that concerns me about him is you're
Um,
granted. I'm not taking anything away from the guy. He's super talented, but
No, he is. He is.
his body type and frame and some of the soft tissue injuries and nagging injuries that he's had, I think I would just feel a lot better over the long haul about the health and availability of Terry McLaurin.
Okay. You're
Personally.
entitled to that terrible opinion, but you can have it.
No, I agree with him.
You both are entitled to those terrible opinions, but
I just think, Jared, it's like Eddie Jackson. There's right now, Debo has proved that he can be an awesome weapon in what Shanahan's a really good fucking play caller, dude.
good
We're
thing you're not
just
going
we're
to
just
Shanahan.
implement
Great schemer too.
and the timing. He knows when to call it in the game and when, right? He does. He does a jet sweep when it works, not when people know it's coming.
And we're hoping that Luke Getsy can do the same things, right?
Yes, but you're talking hope. McLaurin can come in and fucking plug him in and go. Debo, you need to get a lot of shit right to get him going.
But you just told me he's a Shanahan. Is Getsy not a Shanahan guy?
No, he
Share,
is.
it's the
gonna
first
run-
share of the fucking offense. They just blew the shit up.
But Debo also said he doesn't want to be used the way in which Shanahan is using him.
There you go.
That's
Which
wild.
I don't necessarily agree with him. I mean, he's the player and he's entitled to be
That's
used
the-
however he sees fit. But why you would not want to be with a guy who puts you in a great position to succeed?
He's about to get you super paid. Yeah, Players sometimes-
But I think for him it's longevity though. He doesn't want to take a lot of these hits from defensive
Sure.
linemen and linebackers. He'd rather be matched up on the ends.
he's
with
not
corners and
Cordarrelle
safeties.
Patterson, is what you're
He
saying.
didn't sign up to be a
Correct.
part-time running back.
Correct.
Right.
Correct.
I mean, receiver money is a whole different animal. If you can't stay healthy, you're not going to touch it.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. That's a great point.
Now that's a legitimate point, but if we were talking player for player, and those things weren't what they are, I would take Debo.
I'm still taking Scary Terry. Dude's
Jared
just
just wants to be able to say
freak.
Debo.
Debo. We said
That's my
Tebow
bike,
for
punk.
years.
So, guys, you got anything else, man? I mean, like, I'm
Wow,
surprised
we
we
milked
actually, time-wise, I figured a half hour tonight, so we actually did a little more time than I thought we would. You
You
guys
did
got anything
well.
else this week? Any Bears-related news?
Any
Not really.
Bears-related news? Apparently they need to fix their audio system
Yes.
there at Hallisall because
God.
there's a certain co-host that likes his picture frames to fall off the wall from his surround sound when he listens to the pressers, and it was not to his liking.
You could barely hear it. You said it yourself before we recorded.
It was a little
asshole.
low. It was a little low. Okay.
The last
It was.
Eberflus one, you could tell they were actually making an effort. It's like,
Yeah,
come
but I
on,
thought
man.
Jared, it's not a Quiet Riot concert. Like,
Well, the
Why
thing
would
is,
anybody?
also,
Well,
anybody
there would be nobody there.
anybody out there that actually puts their surround sound on for pressers, I'm just letting
It
you
was
know.
on. It was on already. Jesus
I'm just letting you know,
Christ.
if you do put your surround sound on, change
Here we
the
go.
output to stereo. It will sound better.
Oh, duh!
for
I bet at
just audio.
5.1. Yes.
Dolby surround sound, bro.
I don't have it on Dolby. Dolby sucks.
what the fuck? This is Geek Squad now? Y'all
What do
talking
Yeah, welcome
about-
to fucking Geek Squad talk.
So you have it on 5.1 with a sub on.
Yeah.
You want to hear breathing, bro?
Dude,
Not
you should have tuned
particularly.
it to 420 for the pressers today.
At least turn the sub off, man. You're just getting distorting a voice for no reason. So anyway,
There we go.
I thought the media, you could actually hear them for once, pretty
And
clearly.
the Eberflus one, like I said, the last Eberflus one, you could really hear it. So
Right. I like the fact that
Ooh.
you could actually hear the reporters' questions consistently. They got that right. I heard it fine in my car. I plugged my phone into my car, but
okay, I did that
Jared,
too.
I surround
I did that.
sound.
I did that on the replay on the YouTube. Even it was still not great.
Yeah, I had no problem with it. I did it.
Get a boom in there. You know what I'm saying? Get a boom in there. Throw a mic in there.
Yeah, so Chicago Bears, if you're listening, please make it surround
Which you are
sound
not.
friendly. We want
Make
like
the audio better. I mean, this has been an ongoing thing with this team. All right. This is where we're at in the offseason. We're talking about audio on pressers that don't mean shit.
yeah, but I've never honestly. You're the first guy I've met that's ever said I listened to the pressers with surround sound on. That's
I
pretty
did.
intense.
I had it on.
Can't get good audio at Hallisall, but I'm supposed to believe we're going to have a world-class stadium in Arlington. Interesting.
Well, the equipment
Should we
will
just-
be better.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
They
stadium.
should have
talks
hired
to
us
things,
in this audio, man.
right? So, if you made it this far, thank you. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Appreciate
Hey, check out the
We're
socials,
live.
man.
appreciate when we're live with the comments. Check out the link tree that kind of will lead you to any of our socials on the tailgate at the tailgate show. Sorry, on Twitter. We're also on Facebook. We're also on YouTube. We're also on all your podcast choices. So
Like it.
subscribe, download,
Yeah.
like, comment on Apple. Hoping you're enjoying it as much as we enjoy bringing it. And
Hit
that's
us
just
up on
another
LinkedIn.
episode. What's that, Biscuits?
I said,
that's-
hit us up on LinkedIn.
There you go. The LinkedIn hasn't been set up yet. You actually got me. So that's just another episode of The Tailgate Show.
Duh, surround sound.
The press conference hell.
Dolby Digital.